station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
It's time for Angels Spring Training Baseball this afternoon from Tempe Diablo Stadium. It's an Angels split squad taking on the Chicago White Sox. Another great day here in the Valley. Saturday afternoon baseball here in Tempe. Terry Smith along with a special guest that's going to join us here for the course of our pregame show, and that's Angels manager Jerry Dipoto. Jerry, always good to see you. We're about a third of the way into spring training so far. Guess the first thing I have to ask you, give us an update a little bit on Josh Hamilton.
Well, there's only so much information I can give you on Josh. We're waiting for him to recover from his HC joint surgery. That part of it's going very well. The rest of what's gone on with or around Josh, is going to remain with us, with Josh, with the league and the Players Association, and how it turns out remains to be seen, but we'll take it day by day.
So, Jerry, let's talk about recovery, and it seems like recovery to a plus has been good for Garrett Richards. What is the latest and what is next for him?
Garrett has thrown the ball extremely well since he's been here, really. I mean, the bullpen sessions were eye-opening. He threw live batting practice about 4 days ago. Today, he was up and down twice through 2 live bullpen sessions where he's throwing them in 25-pitch innings. He looks great. The next step in the progression is introducing game activity. We want to make sure he's in a good place as far as his confidence with his PFP, fielding his position, covering first base, and make sure he's absolutely confident with that before we set him loose in a game, but we're getting close.
And there's only so much a report papers can tell you about a player, and you know about Matt Joyce and what he brought to the ball club. From what you've seen so far, from the clubhouse fit to the outfield versatility and on-base ability, what do you like?
Matt's had a great spring so far. He was out yesterday with a hamstring, and hopefully we get him back in there real shortly here. But he's played great. Matt fits in the clubhouse did from the moment he got in here. He's been a very steady, solid, average major league player for a number of years. We feel like he can play either corner. He has the ability to contribute left-hand power to our lineup. And right now, as we get ready for opening day, he's a pretty critical player for us. He's going to hit somewhere in the first 5 hitters of the lineup on most days, and he's done a great job throughout the course of his career handling righties, and we're going to give him an opportunity to see what he can do against lefties here this spring.
Jerry, coming into camp, there was a job to be won at second base. Handicap it for us about a third of the way into spring training.
We've got Featherston and Rutledge and Johnny Giavitello, who joined the organization. We got Grant Green, who's an incumbent. And, among those 4, Greeny is doing what Greeny does. He's getting his hits, and he always has. And, obviously the defensive part of the game doesn't come quite as easily for him, but he's made some nice improvements this spring. Johnny Giavitello has been playing his butt off and really has been outstanding. Featherston's been a breath of fresh air. He's a Rule 5, and we have to keep him. Otherwise, he goes back. And obviously the most experienced of the group is Josh Rutledge. He hasn't gotten off to the kind of start that he wanted to or we'd like to see with the bat, but he's done a lot of things defensively that have given us a lot of ease as we head into the remainder of the spring.
And here's a kid and a name that's bringing a lot of smiles to the Angels organization all throughout. Sean Newcomb. What do you think?
I'm really glad he's on our side. As I said to the guys, unfortunately, you have to have a down year to get the opportunity to pick a guy like Sean Newcomb, and we picked the right year to be in position to take him, and thank goodness the 14 teams that were picking in front of us let him go by, because he's big, he's physical, he does it easy. The fastball is into the upper 90s. He's got a really good feel for his breaking ball and his changeup. I think he's handled himself well to this point in camp, and we're getting close to sending him to the other side and just letting him get prepared for the start of his season.
Jerry, quickly, I know we could talk about the bullpen all afternoon long, but who might have an inside track as far as maybe that final bullpen spot?
Obviously we return. Everybody coming back is coming off of a good year. And, Corey Rasmus is coming off of a very good year. Mike Marin, very good year. Salas, the same. Those guys are going to have to pitch their way off the club to a certain extent. Vinny Pistano did a wonderful job for us last year after we acquired him. He's been great this spring. And Matt Lindstrom's really been, an eye-opener to this point in the early spring. So among that group, I'd say 2 of them are going to make the club and 2 of them are going to be disappointed.
That's Angels General Manager Jerry Dipoto. It's the Angels and the Chicago White Sox. It's coming up next on Fox Sports West.
Outstanding shot from outside Tempe Diablo Stadium. White Sox against the Angels. So happy you could join us here in this beautiful setting. As the Angels take the field, so happy you are with us here, Jose Mota and Terry Smith on our simulcast. And Chicago White Sox, managed by Robin Ventura out of Santa Maria, California. Have a young second baseman leading off. His name's Micah Johnson. They're pretty excited about him. Batting second, shortstop, another youngster, Tyler Saladino. Batting third is a milkman. They call him Melky Cabrera, signed as a free agent this offseason. Melky is in left field. Adam LaRoche, another free agent acquisition for the White Sox, is batting fourth. He is at first base. AVISAIL Garcia is batting fifth. A promising youngster. Just needs to stay on the field and keep his health. He's in right field batting fifth. Connor Gillespie, solid season for the White Sox at third base. He's batting sixth. Tyler Flowers, a catcher, is batting seventh. He is followed by the designated hitter, also a catcher, Adrian Nieto. Nieto batting eighth as a DH today. And Trace Thompson is in center field. We're pretty excited to call that name, and we'll get into that a little bit more as the game progresses here in Tempe Diablo. Veteran Brett Penny will make the start for the White Sox here this afternoon. And for the Angels, the starting lineup is brought to you by McDonald's. It is a perfect meeting of beef and cheese. McDonald's new triple cheeseburger, loaded with 3 100% pure beef patties and real American cheese, is everything you love and more of it. Now for only $2.49. Mike Scioscia's Angels, Cole Calhoun leading the regulars. He is in right field, followed by the MVP of the American League, Mike Trout, in center. Albert Pujols and his sure hands are in first base, batting third. Matt Joyce recovering well from that hamstring issue. Only missed one day. He is in left field batting fourth. David Freese playing well at third base, batting fifth. Eric Ibar at shortstop batting sixth. Chris Iannetta, Angels catcher, batting seventh. Mark Prowse makes a start, designated hitter. Done a fine job so far this spring. He is DH batting eighth. And Johnny Giovatella is at second base. Bats ninth on the mound for the Angels. Youngster Andrew Heaney. And here's Terry Smith.
All right, thanks, Jose. We're just about set for baseball. Angels red tops, white pants. White Sox have on the black tops and the gray pants. Beautiful day here in Tempe as the Angels get ready for Cactus League game number 10. And the first pitch, that one misses for a ball. We're underway. The count 1 ball, no strikes.
So they'll get rid of 10 and 11 in one day, Terry.
That's right. There's another game getting underway as we speak. And that is in surprise. Angels and Royals. We'll update you on that one. Angels did not send too many regulars to surprise Arizona for that game today. Most of them are here for the home fans, the Tempe Diablo crowd, to watch play. Pitch was fouled off by Johnson. Here's the next pitch on the lefty batter, and he takes that one low. So 2-1 to count. Left-hander against left-hander. Andrew Heaney in his first start. That was last Sunday. And last Monday, I guess it was, against the Reds. Went 3 innings in that game, gave up just 1 hit. Here's a little flare in the left field, and that's going to fall in for an opposite field single. So Johnson is aboard, and the next batter will be Tyler Saladino. Saladino is a player who was in AAA last year, hit .310.
Take a look at Andrew Heaney now working from the side. Is pretty much the way the last game started for him. It was an infield single against the Reds. Look at him from the stretch. What we saw earlier was nothing really that really pops your eyes about his moves or anything. It's fastball, changeup. Hopefully Mike Butcher wants to see him incorporate the slider a little bit more today, or that meeting between the slider and the curveball.
1 ball, no strikes on Saladino. Johnson, who's on at first, can really run. He had 84 stolen bases in the minors in the 2013 season. Had some hamstring problems last year, but still ended up stealing 22 between AA and AAA. He has a huge lead at first base, even with the lefty on the mound. Here's the pitch, and that one is low.
Well, time and time again, sir, I've been saying that it all starts there. Just because you take a big lead doesn't mean you're attracting attention, but you're making yourself comfortable and at a point where you have enough information from the guy on the mound to know there's no tricky move. Let me get out there and see what he shows me and see if I can distract him a little bit.
Heaney behind, 2 balls, no strikes, and a lob toss over to first base. Darrell Boston is the first base coach for the White Sox, former major league player, and he's saying something to Johnson as he moved back to the bag.
Now, as a base runner, you're trying to find out, does he come over back-to-back? Let's see.
If he's
My
going
guess
to run.
is not. There he does. There you go.
Sure
now you
did.
have it.
Yep. And again, it was just kind of an excuse me toss over there to first base. If Johnson's going to run, this would figure to be the pitch to do it. The Angels would not figure to pitch out with the count 2-0. Heaney set. Runner not going, and the pitch. That's a liner just out of the reach of Giavotella. Might have gotten a little bit of glove on it. It's going to bounce on out to Trout. And Saladino with a sharply hit single. They have runners at first and second. Johnson, they're saying he was the guy that could fly over at first base. He wasn't sure whether or not that ball was going to be caught, so he had to be kind of cautious leaving first base. He moves to second, and they have 2 on back-to-back hits.
Well, you want to see the true effect of staying inside the baseball. There it was right there. When your pitcher reacts and the ball ends up that far off near the second baseman, you know that you have a lot of slice because of staying inside that baseball. And that ball was absolutely smoked.
So here is Melky Cabrera. Had a solid year last year with Toronto. Signed a 3-year deal as a free agent with the White Sox. White Sox made a lot of moves this offseason. They figure to be a very much improved team from a team that ended up 16 under 500 last year. Here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. They've added Cabrera. Andy LaRoche, who's in the lineup today. Of course, Jeff Samardzija coming over. David Robertson is now their closer. They added Zach Duke, Emilio Bonifacio. And really didn't lose a whole lot from last year's team. Here's the pitch. Lifted in the air on the right side, shallow right field. Calhoun coming hard, and that ball's going to drop just fair inside the foul line for a blue pit, and they'll have the bases loaded. Another situation where the runners for the White Sox weren't sure whether or not the ball would be caught, so they kind of had to play it halfway. Calhoun had such a long run and just not able to get there. Albert wasn't able to go back. He was over there around the first base bag. Giavotella went over, but that one fell in for a bloop single, and they're loaded.
Calhoun throws his arms up. It seems that that slowed him down. And I know the distraction could be the second baseman also coming after that ball full speed where you want to slow it down, but certainly it looked like if Calhoun had had a clear path, he probably would have caught that ball.
So 3 straight singles, and now Adam LaRoche mentioned he was one of their acquisitions. He's signed as a free agent during the offseason, 2-year deal. Left-handed batter, veteran player now. He's 35 years old, and he takes a cut at that one and misses it for strike one. He hit .259 with Washington last season. 26 homers. He drove in 92 runs.
And the Angels have a very busy right side of the infield.
Shift is on. Only Freeze over there on the left side.
There's something LaRoche has seen pretty much throughout his career.
Here's the pitch, and that's a called strike, so the count jumps to 0-2.
Dangerous power guy. LaRoche has 9 seasons with 20 or more home runs. And the White Sox call him a perfect fit for what we're looking for. First base, leadership, and power, of course, in that ballpark.
Here's the 0-2, and it just missed a little inside.
That's the pitcher we're talking about. Pretty good. Got a nice take by LaRoche, but also we see some good snap in action on that breaking ball.
LaRoche at the plate, has the sunglasses on. The 1-2 delivery way outside. That fastball missed. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. 13 pitches already for Heaney here. He's yet to retire batter. He's facing his 4th in the inning. Bases loaded.
Terry LaRoche is a big Duck Dynasty guy. Look at the look.
Yeah. He fits in perfectly. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Heaney's pitch. Slide into right field. Not all that deep, but probably deep enough to get the runner in, especially a fast guy at third. The throw will be to third base. Tagging and coming in and scoring will be Micah Johnson. So it'll be a sac fly for Adam LaRoche. Coming in is Johnson. The other runners hold as Calhoun's throw prevented Saladino from advancing. And that's the first out. It's 1-0 Chicago.
That's pretty much the way it also went back in in Goodyear when Heaney faced the Reds, and the sac fly being part of the only run that was scored against him. So he got the lefty out of very dangerous and proven lefty by doing a good job implementing his breaking ball and then taking something off of that last fastball.
So the batter now is AVISAIL GARCIA, who is coming back from an injury which wiped out most of his season a year ago. He missed over 100 games last year.
He likes to swing at that first pitch. Does not like to waste much time out there.
Having a good spring, coming back from a left shoulder injury last season, and he takes that one outside.
And going on that information, the Angels go off speed off the plate first pitch.
Garcia only 23 years old, and he is a batter who has a lot of tools. Here's the pitch. It's a pitch low and inside.
Now you talk about tools. All the White Sox will want to see out of him is a full season of health. He's had shoulder issues, major shoulder issues, and also a few years back some issues with his heels. But they think, I mean, as you mentioned, in terms of multi-tool player, he's probably the one.
Here's the next pitch, and he cuts it. That one off speed. He was fooled. So they count 2 balls, 1 strike.
That's a pitch that, of course, Chris Iannetta knows is going to be a plus to keep implementing here in these tough situations for Andrew Heaney.
2-1 to count. Garcia came to camp some 15 pounds lighter this spring. Although still a guy that has some meat on those bones.
Still, there's the resemblance. Came up with that label, the Detroit organization, a little Miguel Cabrera in him. At times, even when he stood up at the plate and walked to the plate, he was trying to imitate Miguel.
2-1 to count. Heaney's 18th pitch of the inning coming, and it is on the outside corner, called strike. 2-2. Garcia not too happy with that call.
That's a pretty good pitch. That shows a lot of command, and the umpire's telling AVISAIL GARCIA, get back in there.
Yeah, he walked out of the batter's box. He almost walked out of the batter's circle, and immediately Ryan Goodman, the home plate umpire, said, hey, you got to get back in there.
It's the first time we've seen an umpire clearly indicate to a hitter, you need to get back in.
The 2-2, and just a little bit inside. Didn't miss by much. 3-2 the count. After Garcia, Connor Gillespie had a pretty good year for the White Sox last season. Kind of a pleasant surprise for them for the most part, waiting on deck. It's 1-0 Chicago. They have runners at first and second, 1 out, and a full count here, as Heaney has really had a battle so far in this first inning. Nothing coming easy.
Got to find that ground ball pitch right here. Eric Ibar is pulled. So is second baseman Giovatella.
After Heaney bluffed a pickoff toss, Garcia took advantage of it. He moved out of the batter's box. He's allowed to do it in that situation. Now he's back in. Heaney's 3-2. Lifted in the air into right field. Not too deep. Making the grab on that one is Cole Calhoun. Both runners have to hold. So that's a big out right there against a dangerous hitter. Back-to-back fly balls to Cole Calhoun here. And with 2 outs, here's Gillespie.
Good job of pitching by Andrew Heaney. He kept Garcia pretty much guessing in and out, off-speed, fastball. But the main thing is he was able to get inside on him a couple of times and move his feet. You can see some of the frustration showing ever since that call, second strike on him.
Gillespie, a left-handed batter who has had a history of struggling against lefties, so we'll see if Heaney can take advantage of this matchup. Here's the pitch, and this one is popped in the air into shallow left center field. Battling the sun out there under and down to a knee to catch it is the Angels left fielder, and that is Matt Joyce out there. That's going to end the inning. So kind of an unusual grab there by Joyce, but he gets the job done. In the inning, they get a run. 3 hits, no errors. They leave a pair. After a half inning, it's the White Sox 1. The Angels coming to bat on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox. on the hill for the White Sox today. 36-year-old right-hander. And Cole Calhoun gets ready to face him, leading off the Angels' bottom of the first. Pitch is in there for a strike. It's 1-0 White Sox. And he's won 121 games in his major league career, lost 101. It was 2-1 in 8 games last year with the Miami Marlins. Here's the pitch, and that is low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Brad Painter originally an Arizona Diamondback farmhand before being dealt to the Florida Marlins, where he immediately started acquiring some postseason experience as a youngster.
Here's the pitch, check swing. It's tapped right back to Penny. Easy play, and he will throw out Cole Calhoun on the comebacker. So the batter will be Mike Trout. Penny has had a couple of tours with the Marlins, been with the Dodgers, Red Sox, couple of tours with the Giants, Cardinals, Tigers, and now trying to make the White Sox opening day roster. Here's Trout, who's having a nice spring. He's been up 14 times. He's had hits 7 of those times. And he's homered, driven in 4 runs.
Let's keep an eye on home plate umpire Ryan Goodman and Mike Trout here with a batter's box issue.
First pitch on Trout. And that one is the pitch that's taken for a strike. Penny is ready, and the next delivery. That's a base hit out of the reach of the first baseman, LaRoche. It's going to roll down the right side. It should be an easy double for Trout, and he's going to make the turn. He's going to head for third base, and the throw, it's going to be way late. So Trout just kept on running.
I think many people in the dugout actually saw their heartbeat go up as Trout was not as decisive going from second to third, and then he stumbled thinking about sliding or not sliding when he was getting over towards the bag. But good to see those legs as fresh as possible. In fact, Jared Weaver in the dugout making a little fun of Mike Trout because of that last trot.
So he is on at third. Albert has a chance to drive him in. Pujols has been hot this spring, 8 for 17, 4 RBIs, has a chance to get another one here. Here's the pitch, and Albert lines one into right field. Garcia is there, will make the catch. Trout's going to tag, and he will score without a throw. So the Angels waste a little time getting a run to tie things up here in the bottom of the first inning.
It's the best I've seen Albert in any part of Angels camps on just being able to utilize the other part of the field, especially in situations like this, where he's not pull happy, goes out there and uses whatever the pitcher's giving him, and it's fun to watch him healthy once again, Terry. It could be scary.
Yeah, he's had some very good relaxed at bats so far this spring. So the batter is Joyce, who's hitting cleanup. And they have a shift on 3 infielders on the right side. Joyce takes that breaking pitch for ball 1. Penny is ready, and here comes the next pitch. That's outside.
Yeah, Penny's always had the big breaking ball. Of course, when he threw harder in the mid to upper 90s, he complemented it with that power curve. Now he's learned more and more about both sides of the plate, not having to pitch upstairs anymore, and mixing in, taking something off of fastballs and giving it different looks and different cuts.
2-0 pitch, cut on, fouled off on the left side, backing out of play. Today's game being brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. No freezers, no microwaves, no heat lamps ever. At In-N-Out Burger, when it comes to burgers, fries, and shakes, always fresh is the only way. Why not stop in after the game? David Freese waiting on deck. 1-1, bottom of the first. Here's the pitch. Lifted in the air into left field. Battling the sun is Melky Cabrera, and he will make the grab on that one, and that's going to end the inning. So fly out to the left fielder, and that'll do it. In the inning, a run, a hit, no errors, and in the inning, no one left on base. We have completed 1 inning. We're tied at 1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We go to the second. This copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball. First delivery to the White Sox catcher Flowers is in there for a strike from young lefty Andrew Heaney, 23 years old. And the next pitch bounced right to Giovitello, who's playing second base. His throw will get Flowers. And one quick out.
Well, let's talk a little Andrew Heaney. And good to see him bounce back, Terry. Once again, 3 consecutive hits and then 3 consecutive outs. Only allowing 1 run. But his delivery is one that creates a lot of deception from the left side. Jared Weaver, the prime example of a guy that throws across his body. So does Garrett Richards. But from the lefty, you don't see it all that often where he lands. And obviously when the hitter is able to pick up the baseball. So way towards the first base side, but more of a glide. And not as hard a landing as we see from a guy like Weaver and Garrett Richards.
First pitch here to Adrian Nieto. He swings and misses for strike 1. Switch hitter. He's a catcher but DHing. And that one is tipped foul. So it's no balls, 2 strikes. Nieto was with the White Sox here in 48 games last year. Hit .236. Backup catcher.
Something else we see, of course, from Heaney is because of that angle that he takes, there's never a ball coming straight in towards home plate. Everything is diagonally with a pretty good angle. That's where he gets a lot of life and tail on his fastball.
Here's the next pitch. That's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Angels will be playing the White Sox again tomorrow. And that game will be in Glendale. White Sox share the facility with the Dodgers. There's one fouled off on the right side. And tomorrow's game, that's going to be Hector Santiago against the left-hander John Danks. Those two used to be teammates with the White Sox.
That's right. And many in Chicago, of course, excited about both ball clubs, Cubs and the White Sox.
So pitch and misses low. 2-2. Yeah, both made a lot of moves in the offseason. So,
and it was this Chicago team that ends up with Jeff Samardzija.
That's right.
A pretty solid 1 through 5. Even though Chris Sale is not going to start the season with him because of an injury to a foot.
Here's one that's chopped foul over on the left side. Well, we mentioned John Danks, and he's a guy that they're hoping can return to form after the shoulder surgery back in 2012. Missed a year, and last season high ERA 4.74, although he went 11 and 11. 2-2. That's a liner just a few feet off the right field foul line, foul ball. So still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
White Sox manager Robin Ventura trying to get Nieto some at-bats here in this part of camp. Ventura, outstanding player himself. Gold Glover at third, Oklahoma State product.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. And that's a little low, so it's a full count.
They have in their staff one of the pitchers that perhaps you don't hear about a lot, but one of the most steady performers the last couple of seasons. Jose Quintana. Guy that takes the ball and gives you a lot of quality starts and just does not seem to match it up with wins.
There's one tip foul by the plate. Yeah, he was a couple games under 500 last year, but you look at the numbers, and a guy who's gone 200 plus innings a couple years in a row. A lot of no decisions. He's had 29 no decisions the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Speaking of Quintana.
Way too many. Keeps you in the game every time out pretty much.
3-2 payoff pitch, and that's a called third strike, and Nieto knew it. Off speed pitch froze him there, struck him out looking, and that's the first strikeout today for Heaney, who is now recovered nicely in this ball game. He gave up 3 straight hits in that first inning. Now he's retired the last 5 in a row.
That's what we're talking about. It's not easy to pick up the baseball when it's coming from way out there. You think because of the release point the ball's going to continue to tail, but it comes back and gets that corner.
So here is Trace Thompson, SoCal native, former second-round pick of the White Sox in 2009. 23 years old, played Double-A last year. First pitch missed on him, and the 1-0. He swings at this one and lifts it in the air into right center field. Should be a routine play for Trout. He's under and he'll put it away. And that will end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning for Heaney. We're headed now to the bottom of the second. It's a 1-1 game here in Tempe. Angels and White Sox on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. David Freese leads it off as we go to the Angels' second inning, bottom of the second. 1-1 to score. The score update brought to you by Experian. Get your credit swagger on at Experian.com. Here's the first one on Freese. That's in there for a called strike from Brad Penny. Last inning, the Angels' only hit came from Mike Trout. He scored the Angel run, the first Angels hit of the game. It's brought to you by 714 Tickets. If you want to make a hit on tickets, log on to 714tickets.com. 714 Tickets. Call today, go tonight. And there's one taken for a strike. So the count jumps to 0-2 here on Freese, who's gone 3 for 16 so far this spring with a couple of runs batted in.
One thing for sure, Brad Penny is not messing around. He is hitting and pounding the strike zone.
Here's his pitch, and that's low and outside.
Penny's still an imposing figure out there on the mound out of Oklahoma. That said he benefited in his career when he was brought up early, given the responsibility of pretty much being an anchor and a staff for the Marlins, and that built him up.
There's Freese trying to check on a high inside fastball, and he couldn't check on it. Went around, struck him out. That was not a real good at bat there for Freese. He was not comfortable against Penny.
You're right. Did not see the ball at all. Release point, gauging his timing, so it was one that he needs to forget about.
Here's Eric Ibar, the Angels shortstop.